13-year civil war in Syria.
As rebel forces celebrate their stunning victory,
toppling the regime of Bashar al-Assad in just 11 days.
Bashar al-Assad fled to Moscow.
Uncertainty remains for minority groups all over the country.
Last time I was here, a ruthless dictatorship had been ruling the country for 55 years, and I wasn't allowed to speak about it. A word taken the wrong way by the regime could have put both me while I was in the country, but mostly my friends would have to stay after we published our story into grave danger. Despite a dictatorship that seemed even just 6 months ago like it would never fall, after 13 years in civil war, close to 50% of the country's buildings destroyed, over 500,000 lives lost, and almost 7 million refugees displaced, the regime, in a brisk turn of events to everyone's surprise, was toppled on December 8th, 2024. With its weekend allies of Russia and Iran, Syria's dictator Assad, his family, and close allies fled to Russia. And all of a sudden, Syria was free. A freedom that likely cost the heaviest of price in modern history. The country today is now very different than it was 3 years ago, and is in the middle of a rapid transition. At the moment, it is almost in a state of semi-anarchy, as the revolutionary forces now run the country under a transitional government. And unfortunately, over the last few weeks, violence has broken out between different ethnic groups within the country, leading many minorities to worry about their safety within Syria. Many questions lay ahead for this nation who has seen so much torment. But many of those who fled the country are now looking back with hopes for a better future, but also with dreams to return to their homeland they were forced to flee. One of those people is Tarek, a Yes Theory subscriber, and his mother, who emailed us wanting to travel back to Syria with us. They fled to the US in 2011 when the civil war broke out, expecting to return quickly. But the conflict got worse and worse, and what was supposed to be a few months away turned into 14 years. We just so happened to be planning a trip back to Syria when we saw this email and decided to bring him, his mother, and wife along to tell their story.
You guys are going to Syria? What? Oh my God! Tarek, we're going to Syria!
And visit the home they hadn't stepped foot in 14 years. Even with the Assad regime gone, getting flights into Damascus is really difficult. So our whole squad would have to meet up in Beirut, Lebanon, and go from there. Our team for this trip would be myself, Ammar, Corey, and Tuma. And at the airport, we got to meet Tarek.
I'm very happy to meet you.
His wife Hine, and his mom Alia, who were overflowing with the anticipation of going back home.
We're in Lebanon, Ammar, we're here, we made it.
When we were landing, just looking out, she started tearing up.
Wow.
بحب لبنان كتير إحنا كمان.
Feels surreal doing it with you this time. How are you feeling?
A lot of things. As someone who's been away from homeland, for my case it was voluntarily. You know, I just chose to stay away to avoid military service, but for them, they fled. To just get to share this moment with them and make it happen is the biggest blessing.
You're ready to go?
I feel like I'm still dreaming until I hit Damascus and see that first road.
Alhamdulillah.
I missed so much. I miss my house, I miss my neighbors, I miss the country. Thank God we're free at last.
They just stopped on the middle of the highway. Oh my God, it is... What the hell? What is happening? Oh, got him! We have stopped in the middle of the highway, 1 hour away from the Syrian border, and we are having a snowball fight. You can't make this up. Oh, got him!
Little pre-border celebration.
Yes.
That was up.
Yes.
This hour is gonna feel like days.
While we had been enjoying the novelty of snowfall here in the Middle East, all the traffic combined with the snowy and icy roads was beginning to create a difficult and hazardous driving situation.
Adventure before the adventure even begins. We are stuck here and a lot of cars are struggling dealing with the snow and the ice on the roads. Clearly, in a place where it doesn't snow very often. When it does, it leads to a lot of problems.
أنا مع الفورد. مع الفورد اللي هلا مرق. أي فورد؟
Oh, we can't go this way? And now the snowfall was getting so bad that we were facing road closures, forcing us to detour through sketchy mountainous roads to reach the Syrian border. We're stopped assessing the roads.
It's the slipperiest road I've ever been on. Like, no joke. As soon as I walked out, I didn't have any grip.
Beneath this layer of snow is just ice. We are stuck in a mountain road here with the snow. And the problem is that there's a cutoff time at the border. It's 10 p.m. right now. Drive should have only been about 20 minutes left, maybe even less. But right now, this is what's in front of us. No one's moving. So we are now not sure if we're going to be able to make it across the border tonight. I have no clue where we would go.
Well, yeah, we'll make it, Shelter. Don't worry.
18 minutes.
17, yes.
يلا اوكي اكبس على الحدود. Fast.
I have to get stamped before 11, which is in 5 minutes.
الله يسلمك يسلم ايديك.
كل سنة ألف شكر.
يعطيك الف عافية. شكرا.
We're in.
We are the very last people to cross the border tonight, and we made it with just enough time to get all our stamps done. Love you, man. Feels good. Feel everything you need to feel, my man.
Oof, it's like 15 emotions at the same time.
We are officially crossing into Syria.
We did it!
1 a.m. at the Syrian border. Welcome. This is the last thing I think any of us expected. We go from high stress to absolute ecstasy.
With the stress of the last-minute border crossing behind us, it was time to head towards Damascus, where more friends were up all night waiting for us.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, good.
Fadi, right?
Yes.
Good to meet you, Fadi.
تكلموا عربي.
مبروك.
Good to see you. I can't believe it! You're freaking walking in Syria right now. I don't believe it.
Welcome back.
Some of you might remember Fadi and Gaida from the previous time I went to Syria. Since I last saw her, Gaida's life has transformed pretty drastically, in large part because of our video, which allowed her to make the life-changing move to Europe.
Thanks to him.
With so many stories to tell about Syria today, we'll save Gaida's for next week's episode in our part 2. But for now, with all the members of our travel crew fully assembled, we were finally ready to explore the new Syria.
Good morning. Is that you? That was to me. I think I'm her favorite. I'm just letting you guys know.
Mama love every morning.
Welcome to our official day 1 in Syria.
Our main mission with Tarek and Alia was to visit their apartment, which, fortunately, was still standing 14 years later despite missile fire landing in their very street many times. But first, we decided to enjoy the privilege of exploring this ancient city together.
What did he say?
Like, you go crazy over you. You go crazy over you. Like, he's complimenting. This is so surreal. We're walking in Old Damascus. It just felt so unattainable for the last almost 2 decades, you know?
Yeah.
Now we're just here, roaming, people are happy, calling you a cutie pie and...
How are you?
When you greet someone, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is "Tfaddal," like come on over. Like the first thing is always come in first and then we speak. Like it's an invitation to get into their space.
Salam. No, not Syrian. Swedish.
هلا رجعنا من الغربة 14 سنة. اليوم
أول يعني.
بتعرف شو حبيبي تسلم حبيبي ربنا يخليك. ربنا يخليك يا عم ربنا يخليك. ممكن واحنا راجعين نعدي عليك. عشان احنا قاعدين في الاوتيل اللي هنا. ممكن لما نرجع نعدي نشرب معاك شاي.
مشان شاي يكون بدي شاي.
أكيد
خلاص إن شاء الله.
يلا يسلم يا عم.
احنا هون كل يوم بنمر قدامك.
يلا ما دي بكره تشوف شاي.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله يا رب.
مبروك الحرية.
We haven't even set foot outside yet, and we're already getting invited for tea. I feel already welcomed back.
What does coming back to these locations mean to you?
My history, my background, my childhood.
Well, walking the street here feels incredible. Everyone is very friendly and nobody seems to mind being filmed.
He caught that I was Egyptian from my accent and then he started speaking to me in Egyptian Arabic. Oh man, what a vibe.
Yeah, every single person you meet is like so friendly. Every single person has a story here of hardship, but they see foreigners and they're still smiling. Like, you'd think that you'd be the opposite, right?
Knowing how much foreign influence has like really messed up this place, they're still the most welcoming and the most hospitable.
As we explore the city, we continue to learn more about Tarek. We learned that he was studying to become a dentist in Syria when the war broke out. Expecting to eventually come back, he was fortunate to be able to flee to the US with his parents, where he eventually finished his education. As the years passed, having spoken up against the regime on social media, thereby being in real threat of getting detained, returning home was no longer an option. We sat down with them for a moment to hear more from them directly.
When the revolution started, I was finishing up my schooling here and I was planning on leaving, but it happened where I had to leave way faster because things were escalating very fast. My parents were here, they were not planning on leaving ever, but a few months later things got worse, and even when they came, the plan was just for a few months, a year or two, and 14 years later now we're coming back for the first time. I think one of the biggest issues for Syrians leaving is that there was no closure. There was, for most Syrians, it was overnight because again things were going south pretty fast.
I remember that day when I flew over the land of Syria, crying so much and looking down like, hey, I'm coming back. I used to hate that I'm warm and the Syrian people are cold. And I have food and they don't. You live with that guilt. You just want to be in touch with people. You want to be back here where you belong. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for us to be far away.
Each of us tried to help in our own ways. I went on a couple of missions to treat Syrians, and it was 2015, 2016. There's millions of Syrians that had to go to Turkey, Jordan, Greece, and whenever you watch news, it doesn't kick in until you go and see it in real life, until you see the suffering. Those people did nothing wrong, but just existing, being at the wrong time and the wrong place, and they paid the price. It was a hefty price.
Stay away, please.
As we continued exploring the streets, Ammar got talking to a man who was organizing a speaking event.
منظمة عالمية للكتاب من أعرف وأكثر منظمات في العالم اللي تهتم بحرية الرأي والتعبير ودفاع عن حق الكتاب للرأي والتعبير، دفاع عن الكتاب اللي مضطهدين بسبب الرأي.
أهلا وسهلا فيكم. صار لي 13 سنة الحقيقة، ولا مرة قدرت من قلبي أقول أهلا وسهلا لحدا، بس هلا أنا ببلدي صار فيني أقول أهلا وسهلا.
They're having an initiative here that's for Syrian writers who are in exile. For the first time in the last 54 years, they could actually gather, they could get together, they could talk about their ideas freely. This just makes me so happy that now there's space for things like that to emerge and for people to reclaim back, their Syria.
الحقيقة هي التجمعات وهي المبادرات هي محاولات لحماية هذا الحلم من إنه ينسرق، وأنا متأكدة إنه نحن كلنا رح نعمل كل شيء بنقدر نعمله لحتى ننجح.
This just gives me so much hope because people of the arts in general, you couldn't simply just say what you wanted to say. You had to say what you were allowed to say, and if you go out of these bounds, you end up in a prison and your family wouldn't even know where you are. So yeah, this just gives me so much hope that writers and storytellers can reshape and retell the story of this nation.
This is the cradle of civilization.
Yeah.
So we don't want what happened throughout the last 1, 2, or 3 decades to dictate how the world sees us. And this area went through many wars throughout history, and every time we rebuilt better. So nothing different this time.
They're so freaking cute. Yes, theory. اكتبها لك.
Where are you from?
أنا مصري.
مصر.
انت اسمك ايه؟ سيرين عمار. وانت اسمك ايه؟ ميران. ايه الاسامي الحلوة دي؟ I think that's probably one of the things that stand out to me the most being in Damascus. It's not like the people here have been living normal lives and everybody has been super oppressed, and economically right now the country's struggling quite a bit, but still people really find a way to still continue being grateful and celebrating this moment, and the freedom that they have regardless of what they're going through right now. They just have their eyes on the future and knowing that whatever is coming can't be worse than what has passed. سوريا حرة دلوقتي؟
أحلى.
ارفع راسك فوق، أنت سوري حر. 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 برافو.
Before the much anticipated return to their home, we were all fully soaking in being back in Damascus.
We are going back to one of my favorite restaurants that I think I've been to anywhere. We are about to eat one of the best meals that we will ever have in our lives. Whoa. Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. Food review? Food review? Best food in my life.
I told you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think we ordered the restaurant. Did you just say one of each? Is that how you ordered?
And after enjoying the best meal of our lives, it was time for a uniquely Syrian experience.
How excited are you?
I don't know what we're really getting ourselves into, to be honest.
There's no hot water here, and I haven't showered for 24 hours. This is my shower.
The guy watching getting a Mars and be like, another guy who hasn't showered.
Very excited to get beaten and
What?
I know exactly what I'm expecting,
Wait, they said we're not getting slapped around.
We will.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Bro, this is third spaces to the max.
There's a barber.
There's a barber, there's food, there's hammam, there's shisha. You know how for men, all the shampoo is 5 in 1? I guess the hammams are too, you know. It's like anything you want to do, you can do. People are just hanging out. Some people are just like in their towel. Some people are eating. Like what?
1990s started working here. That's 35 years ago. The world hasn't seen vibes until they come to the mosque. Truly. So many people just hanging out, having fun, a bachelor party happening downstairs, two homies just massaging each other. It's like we invented romance here.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, you don't have to say anything.
Traveling to a country like Syria is unlike traveling anywhere else on earth. The stories that you hear, the grief that you experience, but also the overwhelming kindness that you experience leaves for a very confusing ball of emotions to unpack. After my first trip to this country in 2022, it took me about 6 months to process what I had experienced. I heavily underestimated how it would affect me, and looking back now at these old images of me, I see a very different version of myself, a much more innocent version of who I was. It wasn't until I dove into a lot of what I'd experienced with the help of a therapist that I began to comprehend and vocalize a lot of the emotions that I felt had been bundled up within me. And the mission of today's story's sponsor, BetterHelp, is to make starting therapy as easy and as comfortable as possible, whether it is via phone call, text messaging, or video call. What makes it unique is that it's fully online, which gives you access to a much wider array of therapists than may otherwise be available in your city. These therapists can help you unpack your emotions like I did, no matter where you are in the world. You can start by clicking the link in the description below, filling out a short questionnaire, and BetterHelp will then match you with the therapist that best suits your needs. What I personally like about it is that if the therapist you were assigned is not necessarily a great fit for you, you can easily switch at the click of a button with no additional cost. So if this may be of interest to you, click the link in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/yestheory to get 10% off your first month. Okay, let's now finally join Tarek and his family in returning home for the first time. On our final day with Tarek and Alia, it was finally time to go see their home.
Good morning. Mama here is calling her neighbor because she's trying to get her house key that she hasn't been to in 14 years. So you just left the key when you left in 2011 with her?
With her.
And she's still
there.
And
she lived there.
And you communicate with her and you keep in touch?
All the time.
Wow.
All the time. She used my house for another space for her son's engagement, and I told her it's your house.
Oh, that's amazing.
Take advantage of it, yes.
صباح النور يعطيك أهلين وسهلين.
احنا بالاوتيل. الله يسلمك يا رب حبيبة قلبي. الله
يسلمك.
وانتي بالبيت يا روحي مو؟
والله ايه بالبيت انا
ايه مشان هلا طالعين شي ربع ساعة من هون وبطريقنا دغري على البيت. They're the best neighbors anybody could have.
14 years with the key, that's...
14 years with the key, yes.
How are you feeling?
Oh, now I'm in Syria until I go and see my house. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, we made it. We made it. We made it.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم.
يعطيكم العافية.
الحمد لله كله تمام.
السلام عليكم. ل 14 سنة. الله يسلمك حبيب قلبي، الله يسلمك. We're here.
This is your house?
Yes. Come on, go.
This is the building.
The building.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, let's go. Where is it? We're back.
وينه طارق؟
والله ما عرفته.
طارق
ما بتغير البركة. نحن اللي ختيرناه.
مين مصدق انه نرجع نشوفكم؟
ما طبيعي.
تفضل
يا عمري
تفضل. مو معقول هيك، اهلا وسهلا يا اهلا.
So right out the window, we can see there's a Venezuelan flag because one of the embassy is based here, and he ended up marrying a Venezuelan.
Actually, he left to the U.S. 2011. I left 2011, Venezuela. Literally the same time.
And his whole life he's had a Venezuelan flag out his window, and he didn't even know it until now.
عم بقول له قديشك جار ممتاز ان اخر 14 سنه. الله يديمك يا رب ونعم الجار. For the past 14 years. He's the perfect example of what a neighbor is in my culture. He's been taking care of our house for nothing in return.
صواريخ يعني كانت تطلع من الراجمة من الجبل كل يوم يطلع 40-50 صاروخ.
اوف كل يوم.
عرفت على القرآن قصص
هون في بناية
محمدي.
هون ما شفتوا البناية؟
فتحت لك انا عملت حساب انا طلعت جاي الشمس
انت لك فضل يا حبيبي.
لا الله يخليك انا طارق.
تفضلي.
14 years.
بسم الله. رجلك اليمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Tarek's father was a cancer and blood doctor back in Syria, who continued his practice in the US once they moved.
How do you feel? You want to sit?
Oh my God.
Is it like you remember it?
Memories, parties, the kids. Oof. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين.
This is my pull-up.
You pull up,
Do a
Mark?
pull-up. Do a pull-up.
Oh.
It might cost next.
Yes, thank you. We need some lights.
This is your room?
Yes. It's crazy. No electricity, but oof. This is the first 1,000 liras I got paid because I worked a bit as a dentist here before I moved to the States. So I gave it to my dad and he put it here.
Yes.
That's crazy.
You still have clothes in here?
That's crazy. Frozen in time. Mini me. She's in university now, and this drives a car. That's crazy how time flies.
بسوريا هون أنا بدي أعطي حب لكل أم. أنت البطلة الحقيقية يلي عشتي هالفترة هاي. أنت بطلة سوريا، الأم يلي طعمت ولادها وما في أكل، يلي اشتغلت وقعدت بالخيام وبردت كرمال عين ولادها وكرمال عين بلدها. فأنا بالنسبة إلي بضرب لكم تحية، أنتوا أعظم أمهات الكون.
كلنا بنضرب لهم التحية، كلنا بنضرب لهم التحية. Thomas was obviously the first one to come here, and it like broke my heart not to be able to come with him, and he insisted that this time, you know, we make it happen together. But I want to ask you, you know, you obviously told me this, but why did you come back? Why did you want to come back? I don't think, I was trying to remember if we've ever gone back to a country to film again, and we haven't.
The spirit of the people that I felt here, that I got to experience, I felt fortunate to come and experience. I felt so much pain when I left, and it took me a long time to be able to gather my emotions around this trip and feeling a bit helpless for a long time. I know the power that a story can hold in changing things in people's hearts. And when I came here, I felt that we did the best we could, and at the time that we were in, but I knew that we could go so much further this time. So it was a no-brainer that we should come back here and do another story and do it together.
Thank you. That's my best friend. That's my best friend right there.
And all of your best friends. Oh my God. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Yes, 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 I am your mom. Yes, and your mom. And his mom, and his mom. Yes.
Oh.
Where are you
From
from?
Damascus.
From Damascus.
Yeah.
How do you feel now?
A new birthday.
A new birthday.
New birthday for the Syrian, all the Syrians.
What do you hope to see for the future?
I hope to prevail justice and honesty in this holy land. We consider Syria as a holy land because it's very, very sacred for us.
What kind of change do you hope to see beyond justice? What do you think, Syria needs today?
Equality among all the sector of the Syrian people, and nobody to undergo as the previous regime used to suppress all sector of the society. We want the justice to prevail all over the Syrian region.
Do you feel that there is a future where all of the sects can coexist here in Syria peacefully?
Exactly.
Do you feel that?
I'm absolutely sure.
Inshallah.
This is the most ancient part of the world. the origin of all religions. And Syria is open to all kind of people. Thank you very much for coming to here, and I hope you find a very nice stay in Damascus, and I hope all the world are welcome to visit us.
Welcome to Syria. I hope you enjoy your stay here.
Thanks so much.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. What would you like to say to the Syrians who are abroad now?
Come back as soon as you feel it's safe enough for you to come back. Also, the Syrians that are out, just like me, they went through the phase of having to disconnect. So come back, connect with your culture, connect with your people.
The last few months have been a time of celebration for many Syrians. And the joy of returning home certainly puts an end to a lot of despair for Tarek, Alia, and their family, which we felt so fortunate to witness.
Mamo, do you have anything to tell Syrians abroad?
ارفع راسك فوق. انت سوري. انت سوري حر. سوريا رجعت لنا. الحمد لله.
It is, however, a chapter with lots of uncertainty that the country enters. Just as we left, lots of violence broke out with retaliations between religious sects, and many minorities now fear for their lives. We felt while traveling in Syria, meeting Christians and Muslims of all sects, that every Syrian has so much kindness and love to give. They've been intentionally divided for decades with powerful propaganda to be more easily controlled by the previous regime, which means that the country's challenge today will be, can we look beyond our past to build a new, united future? We certainly believe in and have experienced the goodness of all the Syrians here, and hope with all our hearts that peace and tolerance will eventually flourish in the region. We will explore more of this incredible and unique country in a second story coming out next week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.